Jessica Lall was the first woman to enter the race. She runs the Central City Association, an advocacy group for hundreds of organizations. She's also worked inside LA's City Hall. Like other candidates, the central message of her campaign is tackling the homelessness crisis.
And we're highlighting all the candidates on the show. Tonight, we are highlighting Jessica Lall. It is great to have you here. Welcome.
It's so great to be in person with both of you tonight. Thanks so much for having me.
And I should point out that when I went to USC, Jessica was the student body president at USC, and I was broadcasting, interviewing her in that role. So this is kind of surreal to be in this role after not seeing you for several years. So it's good to see you again.
It's really great to see you.
Fight on to the Trojans watching. So let's talk, though, about you, because I think for a lot of people who maybe didn't go to USC with us, this is an introduction to you that may have not have heard of you a week or two ago. Tell us a little bit about your backstory and why you think you're ready for this job right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in many ways, I feel like my story is the LA story. I am a proud mom of a 1.5-year-old little girl. I am a biracial woman. My father is from India. He immigrated here when he was 21. My mother was a military brat who grew up in Oklahoma. And I was fortunate enough to move around a lot as a kid, but as Alex, you just said, came to SC, found my home, pursued my passions, and really want to give back to this city. I'm an executive leader. I've had the privilege of running 2 organizations after serving in the mayor's office. I feel like I bring a unique perspective, understanding how City Hall works, but I've also had the opportunity to run organizations, manage budgets, hold people accountable, and work on our city's issues day in and day out.
You also lost your brother to mental health and addiction just about a year ago. That's really still so fresh to you. Of course, we're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
That drive, how does it form your plan on the homelessness crisis that you call really the #1 issue here?
Yeah, Marla, as a sister who lost her brother in a tragic way at the young age of 33, today would have been his 34th birthday, I can say firsthand that a tent is no place for someone to get better. He had all the resources available to him, and it wasn't enough to save his life. So personally, when I walk down our streets and I see the human suffering, it is intolerable to me. And I also have this beautiful daughter, Aria, and when I look at her, she's 1.5, I want to say that I did, as her mother, everything that I could to make sure that her city had safe streets, had quality schools, where she's able to pursue her passions. And when I take her to daycare and I talk to parents and Angelinos, I think we all want the same thing for our city.
And everybody that's running for mayor says that homelessness is priority #1, that we got to do something about it. They all say it's a crisis. So what specifically are you offering differently in terms of a solution that they're not?
Absolutely. Well, I, at our announcement, laid out a 7-point plan. We do not need more analysis and reports. What we need is committed, consistent, aggressive leadership and action around this. So some of the core tenets of that is, first of all, the mayor needs to set a citywide strategy that Angelinos are aware of. We can move forward. We want to look at creating a public health department for the city where we can actually take care. We saw during the pandemic how important this was. Mental health, substance abuse issues, very personal to me. We need to do more to create recuperative care and special care beds to treat people who are in immediate crises. And more importantly, the city needs a strategy for unraveling the complicated world of legal settlements. So there's a multitude of things. I encourage people to go on the website and learn more. We need action, we need compassion, and we need urgency.
I want to ask you about the fact, Elex brought it up just a little bit there, about lesser name recognition and, you know, the fact that you are the first woman to join the race, Karen Bass, today. How do you overcome that lesser name recognition?
Yeah, great question. I think for us, there's room for multiple women in this race. Is really excited. We welcome all women. We see a lot of men. I think it's time for women to step up and to step into these roles, especially executive leadership role. I think for name recognition, look, we're going to have an unprecedented turnout in this election. We're going to have 1 in 4 voters under the age of 34, many of whom have never voted. What we plan on doing is we have solutions, we have ideas, we want to create and inspire. We're going to take the message to the voters and go from there.
What do you say to somebody who says, you're great, but maybe this isn't the time for you? You've got somebody like Karen Bass, who has been the Speaker of the Assembly, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Kevin De Leon, who's been a city council member, the Senate President pro tem. You are younger and don't have as much experience in government as them. and maybe this isn't your time. What do you say about that?
Well, what I would say to that is I'm 37 and I'm proud. I've run 2 organizations. I've spent the last 5 years running an advocacy organization representing over 300 organizations across LA County. We've been tackling the issues of housing, homelessness, transportation, sustainability, day in and day out. I know how to hold people accountable, know how to build teams and set a vision. And what I would say is we're going to encourage people to look at performance and results. And I feel confident that when people look at ours, they're going to feel good about our candidacy.
You just said that you actually have hands-on working with the homeless. So what have you done to make a difference in that realm in your previous roles? Great
question. So one of the things that we've been really proud of, we pushed for the reimagining of Men's Central Jail to be a place where we can actually rehabilitate Angelenos. We've been supportive of more permanent supportive housing, different types of housing models across the city to reduce costs, to get people back on their feet, working in jobs again. We have to look at this holistically, and that's what we have experience doing.
Another big issue, in addition to homelessness, of course, is COVID-19. We've got this debate over vaccines, vaccine mandates. Where do we go from here? What's the most important thing, do you think, that the city of Los Angeles needs to do? And should we continue down the road of more vaccine mandates?
Look, I'm a big supporter of vaccines. I'm vaccinated. I think the vaccines are saving lives. But I think we need to look at what does an equitable economic recovery look like? Our systems were broken coming into COVID. We've seen people lose their jobs. We've seen women of color, mothers be hit tremendously by the pandemic, small businesses. And I think having worked in the mayor's office coming out of the recession, I know what government needs to do in terms of stepping in and stepping back to get people back working and to make sure that we're being driven by data and science when it comes to public health.
Does that mean that you support mandates?
I support for businesses to be involved in the process, communicating with public county health to set standards that make sense, that keep people safe. I'm vaccinated. I would encourage anyone who hasn't been vaccinated to talk to their medical care provider to do what's best for them. I think it's really important to protect public health.
Is it fun to be doing this?
I'm having a great time. I love interacting with Angelenos who care as much about our city. Love being here with you guys tonight, talking more. This is the start, this campaign's the start of a conversation, and we welcome more. Hope to be back to talk further about these issues.
How was Elex as a classmate?
Oh, he was the president of his fraternity earlier than most do. So we go back a long ways. It's exciting to be here with you tonight.
Kind of surreal. Congratulations on the run.
Thanks,
and
Alex.
this is the start of a conversation. There'll be many more as we go ahead and highlight all the candidates over the next year.
And Jessica Lall for mayor.com.